Hello. Today is October 1st, which means it's the month of Halloween. So with that being said, welcome to the 31 days of Halloween. Every single day this month there will be a scary/spooky story. This has been a lot more challenging than I imagined. In fact, I'm nowhere near done with the 31 stories as of releasing this video. However, it will get done, and also make sure to check out the shorts videos this month as well. There will be 31 original less than a minute stories as well. If you have TikTok, they will be available on the Plot Weave TikTok channel. Without further ado, here's story number 1. Also, just to be transparent, these 31 stories in 31 days are only possible because of AI, with my human involvement overseeing it.
Chapter 1: The Discovery. Molly loved Halloween. It was her favorite time of the year. She loved the spooky decorations, the scary movies, the candy, and most of all, the costumes. She had spent weeks planning her costume for this year. She wanted to dress up as a witch, but not a typical one. She wanted to be a glamorous and powerful witch, like the ones in her favorite books and shows. She had found the perfect black dress, the perfect hat, and the perfect accessories. She had even bought a fake broomstick to complete the look. She was ready to impress everyone at the Halloween party that night. But there was one thing missing. She needed a mirror. A mirror to check her makeup, to fix her hair, to admire her outfit. A mirror to cast spells, to summon spirits, to see the future. A mirror that would make her feel like a real witch. She didn't have a mirror in her bedroom. Her parents had given her a small one for her birthday, but she had broken it by accident. She had felt bad about it, not only because it was a gift, but also because it was bad luck. She had heard that breaking a mirror would bring 7 years of misfortune. She hoped that wasn't true. She decided to go to the yard sale at the old Henderson house. She had seen a sign on the street that said they were selling antiques and collectibles. Maybe she would find a mirror there. She called her best friend Daisy and asked her if she wanted to go with her. Daisy agreed and said she would meet her there in half an hour. Molly grabbed her purse and headed out the door. She was excited to see what treasures she would find at the yard sale. She arrived at the old Henderson house and parked her car on the street. She saw Daisy waiting for her at the gate. Daisy waved and smiled at her.
"Hey, Molly. You look great,"
Daisy said, eyeing Molly's outfit. Molly smiled back.
"Thanks, Daisy. So do you."
Daisy was dressed as a fairy princess, with a pink dress, a tiara, and wings. She looked cute and girly, as usual. Molly and Daisy had been friends since kindergarten. They had a lot in common. They liked the same music, the same movies, the same books. They had the same sense of humor, the same hobbies, the same dreams. They also had some differences. Molly was more adventurous, more creative, more daring. Daisy was more cautious, more practical, more sensible. Molly liked to try new things, to explore new places, to take risks. Daisy liked to stick to what she knew, to follow the rules, to play it safe. Molly often dragged Daisy into her schemes and adventures. Daisy often tried to talk Molly out of them or save her from trouble. They balanced each other out. They complemented each other. They were best friends. They walked into the yard sale and looked around. There were tables and racks filled with various items. There were clothes, books, toys, jewelry, dishes, lamps, paintings, and more. Molly scanned the tables for a mirror. She didn't see any. She felt disappointed. She had hoped to find one here. She decided to check out the garage. Maybe there would be one there. She walked towards the garage and opened the door. She stepped inside and saw a large wooden mirror that stood against the wall. It had a carved frame with intricate patterns and a dark, glossy surface. It looked old and mysterious. It looked perfect. Molly walked over to it and peered into it, expecting to see her own reflection. But what she saw made her gasp. Instead of her own face, she saw a pale, distorted version of herself, with sunken eyes, cracked lips, and tangled hair. The reflection looked terrified and desperate, as if it was trapped in some kind of nightmare. It reached out to Molly, mouthing something that she couldn't hear. Molly stumbled back, feeling a cold shiver run down her spine. She blinked and looked again, but this time she saw nothing but her normal reflection.
Are you okay?
Daisy asked, noticing her friend's pale expression. Molly shook her head, trying to clear it.
Yeah, I'm fine. I thought I saw something weird in this mirror.
Daisy walked over to the mirror and looked into it. She saw nothing but herself.
What did you see?
She asked. Molly hesitated, wondering if she should tell her what she saw. She decided not to, thinking that Daisy would laugh at her or think she was crazy.
Let's go, this place gives me the creeps.
Daisy shrugged and followed Molly out of the garage. They didn't notice the old woman who was watching them from behind a curtain in the house. She had a sinister smile on her face as she whispered to herself.
Yes, go ahead and take it. It's yours now. And so is the curse that comes with it.
Chapter 2, The Possession. Molly didn't know why she bought the mirror. She didn't even like it that much. But something about it compelled her to take it home with her. She paid the old woman $5 for it and carried it to her car. She put it in her bedroom, leaning it against the wall opposite her bed. She thought it would look nice with her other decorations, but instead it seemed to cast a dark shadow over the room. She tried to ignore it, but every time she looked at it, she felt a strange sensation in her chest. A mixture of fear and curiosity that made her want to look closer. She started to have nightmares about the mirror. She dreamed that she was trapped inside it, unable to escape or scream for help. She saw the twisted reflection of herself staring back at her with hatred and malice. She felt its cold fingers wrap around her throat, choking her until she woke up gasping for air. She woke up one night to find herself standing in front of the mirror, holding a pair of scissors in her hand. She had no idea how she got there or what she was doing. She looked into the mirror and saw the reflection smiling wickedly at her.
Cut your hair.
It said in a raspy voice that sounded like hers, but wasn't.
Cut it all off.
Molly felt a sudden urge to obey. She raised the scissors and brought them close to her long blonde hair.
No!
She cried out, snapping out of the trance. She dropped the scissors and ran out of the room, slamming the door behind her. She ran downstairs and found her parents watching TV in the living room. They looked up at her with concern.
Molly, what's wrong?
Molly burst into tears and hugged her mother.
Mom, there's something wrong with that mirror I bought at the yard sale. It's evil.
Her father frowned and got up from his seat.
What do you mean? What mirror?
Molly told them everything that had happened since she bought the mirror. How she saw the horrifying reflection of herself, how she had nightmares about it, how it tried to make her cut off her hair. Her parents listened with disbelief and worry. They didn't know what to make of their daughter's story.
Molly, honey, are you sure you're not imagining things?
Her mother asked gently.
I'm not. I swear. It's real. You have to believe me.
Molly pleaded. Her father sighed and rubbed his temples.
Okay. Let's go upstairs and take a look at this mirror.
He led Molly and his wife upstairs to Molly's bedroom. He opened the door and turned on the light. The mirror was gone. Molly couldn't believe her eyes. The mirror that had tormented her for days was nowhere to be seen. Her room looked normal, except for the scissors on the floor.
Where is it?
She asked, panic rising in her voice. Her parents looked around, confused and alarmed.
Are you sure you left it here?
Her father asked.
Yes, I'm sure. It was right there, against the wall. Someone must have taken it.
Molly said.
Who would take it? And why?
Her mother asked. Molly didn't know the answer. She felt a sudden dread in her stomach. She had a bad feeling about this. She grabbed her phone and called Daisy. She hoped that her friend was okay. Daisy answered after a few rings.
Hey, Molly. What's up?
Daisy, listen to me. Do you remember that mirror I bought at the yard sale? The one that I told you was haunted?
Daisy laughed.
Yeah, sure. What about it?
Molly's voice trembled.
It's gone. Someone took it from my room. And I think it might be after you.
Daisy stopped laughing. She sensed the seriousness in Molly's tone.
What? What do you mean?
Molly explained what had happened. How the mirror had tried to possess her and make her do terrible things. How it had disappeared from her room. Daisy felt a chill run down her spine. She remembered how Molly had looked at the mirror at the yard sale. How she had gasped and backed away from it. She also remembered something else. She remembered how she had sneaked into Molly's house earlier that day, while Molly was at school. How she had taken the mirror from Molly's room and brought it to her own house. She remembered how she had done it out of jealousy and spite. She had always been jealous of Molly. Molly was prettier, smarter, and more popular than her. She had everything that Daisy wanted but couldn't have. Daisy hated Molly for that. She wanted to make Molly suffer. She wanted to take away something that Molly loved. She thought the mirror was perfect for that. She knew how much Molly liked antiques and how proud she was of her new purchase. She thought it would be funny to see Molly's reaction when she found out that her precious mirror was gone. She didn't believe in ghosts or curses. She thought Molly was just being silly and paranoid. She was wrong. She looked at the mirror that was now in her bedroom, leaning against the wall opposite her bed. She saw a pale, distorted version of herself, with sunken eyes, cracked lips, and tangled hair. The reflection looked terrified and desperate, as if it was trapped in some kind of nightmare. It reached out to Daisy, mouthing something that she couldn't hear. Daisy screamed and dropped the phone. Chapter 3: The Revenge. Molly heard the scream on the other end of the line. She felt a surge of fear and guilt. She realized what had happened. She realized what she had done. She had given the mirror to Daisy as a gift. She had given it to her as a prank. She had given it to her as a curse. She grabbed her coat and ran out of the house. She got into her car and drove to Daisy's house as fast as she could. She hoped she wasn't too late. She hoped she could save her friend. She arrived at Daisy's house and parked her car on the driveway. She saw that the lights were on in Daisy's bedroom. She ran to the door and rang the bell. No one answered. She rang again, louder. Still no answer. She tried the knob. It was unlocked. She opened the door and stepped inside. She called out for Daisy and her parents. No one replied. She ran upstairs to Daisy's bedroom. She opened the door and turned on the light. She saw Daisy lying on the floor, covered in blood. She saw the mirror leaning against the wall, reflecting Daisy's lifeless body. She saw the reflection smiling wickedly at her.
Hello, Molly.
It said in a raspy voice that sounded like hers, but wasn't.
Did you miss me?
Molly screamed and slammed the door shut. She backed away from it, feeling a cold shiver run down her spine. She looked around, searching for a way out. She saw a window at the end of the hall. She ran towards it and tried to open it. It was locked. She looked for something to break it with. She saw a vase on a table. She grabbed it and threw it at the window. It bounced off without leaving a scratch. She heard a loud thud behind her. She turned around and saw that the door to Daisy's bedroom had been knocked down. She saw the mirror sliding across the floor towards her, propelled by some unseen force. It stopped in front of her, blocking her path. It tilted up, facing her. She saw the reflection staring back at her with hatred and malice. It reached out to Molly, grabbing her by the hair.
Let me go!
Molly cried out, struggling to free herself.
No.
It said, pulling her closer.
You're mine now. You brought this upon yourself.
What do you want from me?
Molly asked, tears streaming down her face.
I want what you took from me.
It said.
I want my life back.
Your life? What do you mean?
Molly asked, confused and scared. The reflection laughed.
Don't you recognize me, Molly? Don't you remember me?
Molly looked closer at the reflection. She saw something familiar in its features. Something that made her heart stop. It was Daisy. But not the Daisy she knew and loved. It was a twisted version of Daisy, corrupted by the mirror's evil power. It was the spirit of Daisy, trapped and tormented by the mirror's curse. It was Daisy's revenge.
See you tomorrow for day 2 of the 31 days of Halloween scary/spooky stories.